There you go.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. So have you guys, how long you guys been here in the neighborhood?
8 years.
8 years. Okay, very good. Do you guys like the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. Good reaction. Be like, all right.
Yeah.
Very good. You guys plan on sticking around for a while?
A couple weeks. Yeah.
A couple weeks. You guys are like getting ready to list?
A week or two, a
Week or
year or
two,
two, maybe 10.
maybe 10. Okay,
Not
fair
for
enough.
certain.
Very good. So what made you guys look into solar? This is first
Oh,
time, or you guys have looked into a lot?
We want information.
yeah,
Just
just exploring
just
options.
exploring options right now. Okay, very good. So what would make you guys want to go solar?
It was cheaper than what we're paying now.
Possibly cheaper than paying your, yeah, okay, all right. Any other reasons you guys want to go solar?
Eventually be self-sufficient with battery backups.
Okay, so you want to be self-sufficient. So it sounds like you guys might want to, you type of people might want to get off the grid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay. Kind of any concerns about going solar at all? Like anything that would
Um,
make you maybe not want to go solar?
Well, maybe if it costs too much,
Okay.
or um, nobody's ever said anything about damage to the roof or
Mm,
replacing your roof sooner than later, or any of those issues that we'd want to know about.
okay, so damage to the roof. Yeah, that's a pretty common one I hear. Okay. Um, Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So you mind if I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Okay, so if there was a way for you guys to go solar now, it was cheaper than what you're paying for. It would allow you guys to be self-sufficient. Battery backup, so we could talk about maybe down the road here. But it didn't cost too much, didn't damage your roof, wasn't a pushy sale or anything. Would that help you guys out?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome, very good. So I don't know exactly what we can do yet. We work with a lot of different programs. So what we can do is I can walk you through how solar works, see if there's a good program that might fit with you guys, and then give you the opportunity to qualify, and then we can take it from there. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay, very good. So do you guys know about what you pay every month for electricity?
180.
yeah.
180.
At
Okay.
180.
All right,
Yeah.
very good. Okay. So let me get my calculator here real quick. So 180 times 12. So you guys pay about 2160 per year on electricity. Okay, that's pretty good. Um, so you guys said you guys been here for about 8 years. Do you know what you used to pay at all? Like back when right when you moved in, do you remember what you used to pay for
I have no
electricity?
No,
No? Okay. Do you think it was more or would you think it was less?
it was less. It's
It
gone
was
up.
less. Okay. So
Mhm.
maybe like 120, maybe 150,
Sure.
something
Good
like that.
guess.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Very good. And you guys said you guys are planning on staying around for a while. Do you guys think the bills are going to go up or do you guys think it'll go down kind of over the next 10 years?
Well, they'll
Oh,
go up.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Me too. Exactly. Very good. Okay. So if you guys are paying 2160 a year, and we multiply that times 10 years, I mean you guys are looking at $21,600 that you guys spend just purely on electricity. How do you guys feel about that number?
That's a lot.
A lot. You guys think about anything that you guys could do with 21 grand?
Yep. Lots
What
of
what
things.
what are you thinking? Okay.
But Tesla, used Tesla.
Buy a used Tesla. Okay, that's fair. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, do you guys by chance know how your utility charges you for electricity?
Per kilowatt hour.
Okay, very good. Yep, you guys are with Idaho Power. So there's actually, if you look at a bill from 2016, there's actually 4 tiers here. One, two, three, four. So tier one is actually it was 16 cents. Tier two is 22 cents. Tier three is 24 cents, and then tier 4 is 34 cents. And basically what this is, you just named it off, you know, a kit per kilowatt hour. Basically what happens is these are like little buckets. So once you exceed one bucket, then basically you go to the next bucket. So it just kind of gets more expensive the more you use. Kind of like, you know, kind of like miles per gallon on a car, right? It'd be kind of like, you know, do you remember what you paid last time you went to the gas station to fill up, as far as like you know, per gallon?
Yeah, like 295.
295, exactly. Okay, fair enough. So basically the way this would work is, so let's say you went and filled up for $2.95, and the gas station says, okay, for $2.95, you know, if once you fill up, you can drive about 300 miles. But then once you go to those 300 miles, you go back to the gas station, and they say, well, okay, now it's 395, but you can only drive 50 miles. Okay. And then you come back to the gas station and they say, hey, guess what? You can drive unlimited miles. Okay. But it's going to cost you $10 a gallon. You can drive unlimited miles per month, right? You know, until the end of the month. What do you guys think about that?
That's
I mean,
silly.
is that a pretty good deal?
No.
No, right, right. I mean, that's a horrible deal, right? But what? So why do you let your utility get away with that? Right? Well, for a
Right.
lot of us, we really don't have too much of a choice, right? So this is kind of what happened is in 2017, they actually raised these rates. So tier one went to 18 cents, and then tier two, they actually decided to get rid of tier two and just say they were simplifying the bill, right? Well, what happened is that pushed everything into tier three. Tier three went to 27 cents, and then tier four went to 39 cents. And then what ended up happening is in 2018, they actually raised the rates 3 times. Okay. So they went to 19 cents, 20 cents, and then 21.5 cents, which is where we're at right now. And again, no tier two, but this moved to 29 cents, 0.29, sorry about that. And then this moved to, they actually got rid of tier four and they called it surcharge, which for a lot of families that we sit down with, they actually hit the surcharge faster than most people think. And, you know, most people that we talk to don't actually ever look at their bills, like look at the back of it and see what tier they're in. They just pay the bill, right? And so that's actually right now at 51 cents. Okay. So if you look at this, you know, you've got, you know, over year, you got a 16% increase, a 12% increase, and another 12% increase. I don't know about you, but did you get a raise at your job last year at all, or the last couple years?
Nope.
Nope.
No, yeah, and you didn't get a 16 or 12 or 12% raise at all? No, exactly. But your utility has been giving themselves a raise, right? So let me ask you kind of a kind of a silly question: is why haven't you done anything about this
You
up
can't
to
do
now?
anything about it.
Exactly. You can't do anything about it. If we want to have the lights on or have the food cold in the fridge, guess what? We just got to pay the bill, right? So, like I said earlier, you know, I'm not sure what we can do right now, but we got lots of different programs. Some work with the county, and some of our best programs actually work on your credit. Do you guys, by chance, know what your credit score is, and maybe you or your spouse? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's like 760 or
760.
something.
Okay, so it's over 700. So you guys would
Oh,
actually qualify for our best programs, right? So the way this would work is if your home does qualify, number one is that you're going to have no upfront cost. Okay. And what I mean no upfront cost when we get started is there's nothing. So we're not going to charge you for a site survey. We're not going to charge you for pulling permits or ding you for $500 or $1,000 here, because you guys had mentioned, you know, as far as cost, if it was too costly, you guys might not want to move forward, right?
right.
Okay, so no upfront cost. When I mean no upfront cost, I mean no upfront cost. Second is that you're going to pay anywhere from a quarter to a half a payment over the next 18 months. Now, what that allows you to do over the 18 months is collect the tax credit. Did you guys know that there's a tax credit to go solar?
Yes.
You did. Okay, perfect.
We
Yeah.
we
So
heard that
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, somewhere exactly. Some people say, yeah, oh, I knew that, and some people say, no, I haven't. And so, yeah, so there's actually a federal tax credit. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but it makes a big difference, you know, kind of moving forward. Second or third, you're going to actually just pay monthly. Okay, so just like you pay your solar or your electric bill now, you're just going to pay your solar bill each month. Okay, that makes sense. Number 4 is you're actually just going to have one price for your energy. Okay. Now, what that means is that remember when we were talking about these tiers, and PGE is already, or Idaho Power, excuse me, has already published that these rates are going to go up. So once we go solar, we got one price for energy, so that actually never changes. So as these tiers increase year over year, that doesn't actually affect you. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then number 5 is that it's going to be the same price each month. Okay, so each month it's going to be the exact same cost. So I know you guys talked a little bit about, and I talked to a lot of families, they have, higher bills in the summer because air conditioning running, we got higher bills in the winter because, it's snowing outside. Well, now it's the same price every single month. So it doesn't fluctuate. You don't got to worry about, $400 or $500 bills. You just have the same price every single month. And then the last thing is that it never goes up. And this is a big one for a lot of people that I talk to because they, long term, they're worried about these increases. They're worried about what's going to happen. Well, when you go solar, it never goes up. So does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That okay, awesome. So what I want to go over real quick is if you go with Apricot, okay, you're going to get a 25-year production guarantee. Now, what does that mean, a production guarantee? Well, pretty much any reputable company is going to have what they call, a 25-year warranty, right? And that's basically just a pass through. It's a manufacturer's warranty that, salespeople use to say, yeah, you've got a warranty. But what happens is we know that you're going to produce about or need about 10,000 kilowatt hours per year. But aside from me being, fairly good looking and, being an honest gentleman, you have no idea that if I put panels on your roof, that this thing is going to actually produce 10,000 kilowatt hours, right? You're just going to kind of trust me, right? So what happens if it only produces 8,000 kilowatt hours? Where's the other 2,000 going to come from, do you think?
The electric bill.
The electric bill, exactly. PGE is going to actually charge you for those 2,000 kilowatt hours. And so if you get a bill, let's say a year down the road, what are you going to do about that?
Call you.
Exactly, right? You're going to be like, hey, Rich, I mean, what the heck? You said this thing was going to produce 10,000 kilowatt hours. It only produced 8. Now I've got this bill, on top of the bill that you already told me about, right? You're not going to be too happy. You might have some choice words to throw at me, right? Well, what I want to show you is if you went with any other solar company, this is basically what's going to happen. Is they're going to come out and they're going to do what they call a site audit. They're going to jump up on your roof. They're going to look at your panels and they're going to be like, yep, guess what? Your panels are working great. You are good to go. But what happens to this 2,000 kilowatt hours? Like, you got to pay for that, right? Like, there's no way around. They're just going to say, well, that's at your cost. Or they might just say, well, hey, we could go ahead and add some panels if you want, to where we can increase that production, but it's going to be at your cost, right? Well, for a lot of people, they're not going to be too happy about that. So let me tell you how the Apricot way. So basically, if you go with Apricot, we're going to produce or give you a 25-year production guarantee. What that means is that if, let's say this happened, let's say we design a system that we say is going to produce 10,000 kilowatt hours, it only produces 8. One is we're going to reimburse you for this 2,000 kilowatt hours, right? Any lost energy, we're going to pay for, so you don't got to pay for that. And then second, when we come out, we do a site audit and say, yeah, hey, guess what? All these panels are working just fine. Well, maybe we need to add some new panels, and that's going to be at our cost. Okay.
Okay, good.
Does that make sense? Right.
Yep.
Okay. So feeling pretty good about that, right? So now let me tell you something. So we've got 50,000 customers nationwide, okay, that all have this 25-year production guarantee. So do you think that we're just going to build a system that's only going to produce 10,000 kilowatts?
Seems like you would try to produce more.
Exactly. So we put in a 5 to 7% buffer, just so that way, at the end of the day, you have peace of mind and we have peace of mind that you know that your system is going to produce this. Because the last thing that you want is to be paying for solar and then having a PGE bill or an Idaho Power bill at the end of the year, and you're like, what the heck? Why the heck did I go solar, right?
Right.
So any questions about the production guarantee?
Nope. No, I think
Nope.
that's good.
Okay, awesome. So this page is really just as a reminder for me is that we want to build your system at 100% of what you currently use. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is if you were to go to maybe Solar City or someone like Tesla, a lot of places will do like what they call an 80-20 or maybe a 70-30 offset, which basically means 70% or 80% of your electricity is coming from solar, and then the other 30% is coming from Idaho Power. Okay. Well, the issue for you, if we look at it, so your bill is $180 times 0.3. I mean, that's $54 a year, right? Or $54 a month that you're going to be paying. Well, $54, just like we had talked about earlier, turns into $64, $74, $84. Well, pretty soon you just got two bills, right? And you're just wondering what the heck, why did I even go solar if I've got this escalating bill, right? Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay, awesome. So have you guys ever heard of something called net metering before?
Where it pays you back, I mean.
Kind of, yeah. So basically
I mean, if
what
you use
net
both.
metering is that so when we know that you need to generate 10,000 kilowatt hours per year, okay? And the way this works is that during the day, you're going to be generating pretty much all of your energy in about 5.5 hours worth of sunlight. It doesn't matter where you live, what time of the year it is. On an average, we get about 5.5 hours of usable sunlight to generate your electricity. So you're basically generating all of your power for 24 hours, right, in 5.5 hours. Now, are you guys usually at home during the day, or where are you guys at?
We're in and out, but home a lot.
Okay, yeah, home a lot, exactly. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is, so when the sun is, producing this electricity and you're kind of at home and kind of not, what do you think it does with this other electricity?
Pushes it out so everybody else can use it.
Okay, very good. Exactly. So PGE and Idaho Power have thousands, millions even of different customers that they can sell this electricity to, which is fantastic, for them, but it's not overly fantastic for you, right? And so basically, what we wanted, what happens is that when you're charging them up during the day, and then you're going to be pulling off of them at night, right? So you got kind of a credit debit balance, right? So during the day you get all these credits, and then at night you guys kind of pull from the grid, so that way you can heat your house or turn on your lights during the evening. And so are you guys night owls, or do you guys kind of usually go to bed early?
Early.
Early, okay. So let's just say, for example's sake, you guys use 20% of your electricity in the evening. Okay. So what happens is at the end, you got these credits and debits. Basically, instead of getting a bill, you're going to get what they call a net metering statement. Okay. And what it's going to say at the end of the month is that you generated 1,000 kilowatt hours, but you used 900. And so you have 100 in credit, right? Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is these credits add up each month. Okay. So basically what happens is they're kind of like rollover credits, right? Kind of like rollover minutes on your cell phone. You guys remember
Okay.
those? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So each month you get these credits, and then some months, because it's either too hot or too cold, you're going to run in the negative. So you use up these credits. But let's say everything works perfectly, and at the end of the year, you end up at zero. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even if this all works perfectly, you're still going to have a little bit of a bill. The electric company is going to ding you about $10 for each month to be connected to the grid, because they're kind of like your partner in this. They're kind of like a big battery. You charge them up during the day, and they you suck it back out overnight, right? Well, if you didn't have them, well, then you'd actually have to go place batteries on your house, right? So yeah, I'm sure you've all heard of the Tesla batteries, right? Those are
Right.
pretty popular lately. And so what happens is or one of the biggest issues right now is batteries are super expensive. So batteries typically are between $8,000 and $10,000. And for an average house, they're going to need 8 to 10 of those batteries, which I mean is anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000 in just batteries. Okay. So you want to pay 80 to 90,000, or you just want to pay $10 a month, right? To be on the
Right.
grid. Okay. So
Mhm.
does that make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. So there's just one more thing with Idaho Power, is they call them non-NBCs. They're called non-bypassable charges. You cannot bypass these charges, right? And basically what it is just a fancy word for taxes. Okay. So now obviously they can't tax the sun, right? They haven't figured that piece out yet, right? So basically what's going to happen is because we're using about 20% of our electricity, you get charged about 25, well, I'm not sure how to put it, less than a penny per kilowatt hour, okay, on taxes. Now you're not getting charged for the power that you draw, but you are getting charged the taxes on the power that you draw, okay? So what that basically looks like is if you look at your electric bill, and we do a little bit of math here, you're basically going to be, so 10,000 kilowatt hours times 0.2 times 0.02. So you're looking at about $40, okay, to about, let's say $140 of taxes that you get a ballpark per year. That's not per month, that's per year. So obviously it's not zero, but it is better than, 3,000, right? When we talked about earlier, would you, if you would like to, if they had a program that said, hey, you could lock in your bill for the next 10 years, would you rather it be 3,000 or 140? Right? 140.
Okay.
So one last thing is a lot of clients will ask me, well, how long is this going to last? Because when we're pushing electricity out to the grid, we're doing it at a 1-to-1 ratio. And basically what that means is for every credit that we get, we're going to get a debit equal. So we sell it out to them for $1, they get us back to $1. But it doesn't work like that in every state. In different states like Utah, Nevada, Colorado, it's actually a 1 to a 0.85, a 0.75, and even a 0.65, okay, ratio. So what that means is basically you sell them, $1 worth of credit, they only give you 85 cents back, which in some people's case, I mean, sometimes what happens is they either got to overbuild their solar panels to compensate for that. So they sell them extra, basically, or you just have to end up, paying the electric company for the extra usage that you use. Now, as the window for solar closes, PGE and other utilities have already said when they're going to start sunsetting these credits or even getting rid of them, because there's only so many people that can just go solar until, we agree, each of these utilities, they make money for selling these, right? Which is fair, but over time, they're going to get rid of that because too many people are going solar. They're not making enough money, or making as much money for each of these credits. So does that make sense?
Yeah. That's a little
Right.
frustrating.
It is, and here's the thing. So if you were to go to solar now, so anybody that has solar or goes solar fairly soon, what's going to happen is you're going to get a 20-year agreement with your utility. Okay, so with Idaho Power, that's going to say that they can't change these taxes or this 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so even though they're sunsetting these over time, if you go solar, here's pretty quick, then you're going to get that 20-year agreement, which allows you to actually have enough time to get, the taxes, they're not going to change, and this 1-to-1 ratio is not going to change for you over the next 20 years. It gives you enough time to get, a return on your investment on these solar panels. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
So
That
what we
makes sense.
can do now is we can go ahead and apply and see if your house qualifies. Basically what that's going to do is going to show us three things. It's going to show us how much funding is available. It's going to show us what your monthly payment is, because obviously you probably want to know what this darn thing costs, right? And then three, it's going to show you how
Right.
much you save. So would you guys like to go ahead
Okay.
and do that?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Just need your driver's license.
Okay. Here it is.
Cool.
Right.
Awesome.
All right, sale done.
Sale done.
Boom.
Yeehaw. Boom.
Is that all you had to do? You don't have to go through the whole put them on the roof thingy?
No, so this presentation that I have to pass is just this piece. So it's just
Oh,
the first 30 minutes, and then we have a skills test that we'll have to do. I don't know when that happens, maybe the end of this week or next, but that's going to be like, okay, you close them, they're interested, pull up Solar Graph, which is the thing I showed you yesterday, kind of draw on their roof,
right.
take out the panels, put it into this other calculator, figure out how much it costs. They like that, that's good, okay, great. Then we click a button and we go over here to this other system and actually do the paperwork, which we haven't done yet, and then kind of go from there. So
Okay. All right. So, to go back to my original question about roof damage.